Hi, friends. Last week, my family and I were on vacation. It was sunny and warm, and we spent most of our time relaxing, reading or dozing under an umbrella by the pool. It was so nice. On our way home, we had a long layover in Phoenix. We passed the time in a restaurant eating a late lunch or an early supper, depending on your perspective. It felt very late to me, and had it not been for the light streaming in the windows, I would never have believed that it was only 3:30 in the afternoon. Looking around, it occurred to me that in an airport, it's easy to lose perspective on time. I was going to say that in an airport, time stands still, but that is definitely not the case when you're sprinting through the terminal to catch your connecting flight. But when you have the luxury of waiting in an airport, time doesn't stand still, but it can feel mixed up. Your body clock may be on a different time zone a few hours earlier or later than the clock that's on the wall. You may have risen before the sun and before any civilized person would in order to make your departure, and so you've added several hours to the beginning of your conscious day. And anticipating your arrival time, especially if it's going to be late, can put your head in that time frame. And then there's just the stress of travel that can wear you out faster than you think it should. Thinking about our perspective on time reminded me of a book that I read a couple of years ago called The Power of Now by Eckhart Tolle. Now, Tolle is not aligned with any religion or religious tradition, but he writes about spirituality and enlightenment and inner peace. And as you might guess from the title of his book, The Power of Now, he suggests that the key to living a happy and fulfilling life is to live life in the moment. He says that in many ways, our mind is trapped in and by time, so preoccupied with remembering the past and anticipating the future that we are unable or unwilling to recognize the beauty or the power or even just the reality of the present moment. He writes, "The more you are focused on time, past and future, the more you miss the now, the most precious thing there is." And he goes on to explain that the reason the now is so precious is because all of life unfolds in the present moment. Now, it makes sense if you think about it. We remember things that happened in the past, but when they actually happened, it was the present. We imagine things happening in the future, but when or if they come to pass, it will be the present. It's not that time stands still, but as it progresses, it continues to be experienced as the present moment. I've been working with children and youth since the early 1990s. And whether it was summer camp or a mission trip, one question that I heard over and over again was, "What time is it?" Usually in relation to what's coming next. I wanted to help students learn to live in the moment and to fully experience what was happening now and not be distracted by anticipating what was coming up. So whenever a student asked, "What time is it?" my response was always, "God's time." By the way, I don't hear that question very often anymore. The students don't need me for the time. They have their cell phones. Now, this present moment is God's time. So was every moment before, and so will be every moment after. To experience God's presence, we would do well not to dwell on the past or to worry about the future, but to open our heart and mind to God in the present. Thanks for listening. I'll see you again next week.